In the second video, you'll see how to assemble your Origami Bodhi Bonsai tree. If you haven't already, see the first video for details about creating the trunk and the leaves for the tree. Next, you're going to take the leaves and insert them into the stems that extend off of the branches of your trunk. So I use a couple little tiny screwdrivers. First little one to poke a tiny hole in the branches, hanging on tight, being careful not to snap the branches off. And take a little bigger one and increase the size of the hole a bit so that the leaf will fit in there without crimping it. And then press the stem of the leaf into the hole you just created. And carry on, do that for the next one, and so on. So after the first side has all its leaves added, it'll look something like this. Most of these leaves are fixed fairly snugly, but there's a few of them that are going to fall out if I'm not careful. So I'm going to apply some glue to each of the leaves using a toothpick, or you can simply just pull the leaf out of its hole and dip it in the glue and then put it back in to affix it to the stem. Then move on and add the leaves to the other side of your tree. Once all your leaves have been added, you end up with something that looks like this. So next I'm going to create the figs. This is what the figs look like on a Bodhi tree. They're created out of a little piece of styrofoam attached to a wire, something like that. So here are the 1-inch styrofoam balls. I bought these at a local dollar store. So take the styrofoam ball and take one end of it and squash it between your first finger and your thumb to create an end that sort of looks egg-shaped, like that. Then on the other end, take your fingernail and pinch a little area of it to create a little raised end for the fig. And it ends up looking something like that. And then you poke that onto the end of a wire. So next you want to paint the figs. So here again, this is what the fig looks like. I can get it to focus. So first I've cut a bunch of 3 or 4-inch pieces of wire. Poke the fig onto the wire and use some dark green paint, acrylic paint in this case, to cover the white foam with something that looks more like a fig. So there you go. 16 figs. So to apply the figs, you'll take your little screwdriver and poke some tiny holes in the joints where the branches meet, 2 tiny holes, and we'll have one fig on one side, one fig on the other. And press your fig into the hole you just created and bend it over to the side just a little bit. Do the same for its partner. And there's what your figs look like when they're attached to the tree. Next, you want to attach the fig tree into a bonsai pot using some flower arrangement foam, something like this, cut to fit the pot. Make sure the pot's got a couple of holes in the bottom so that you can tie down the tree once you've got it inserted into the foam. You may want to start by poking a hole up through the foam so that you can feed the wire from the bottom of the tree out through the bottom of the pot, like this. And once the wire has been pulled through, you want to gently push the tree down into the foam so that you bury the ends of the trunk and the branches that are hanging down. And once the trunk's in place, take some white glue and fill all the gaps around between the trunk and the foam with white glue to make sure it's secured well into the foam. And there you go, the tree is now affixed into the foam. Next, you want to take the wire that's sticking out through the bottom and affix it into the holes, something like this. When the wire is tied away, you want to take some aquarium gravel, something like this, and cover the surface to hide the foam. Then take some sheet moss, looks something like this. We're going to place this around the base of the tree to give it a little more natural look. And finally, you want to clear a little gravel away to create a spot to place your Buddha. And there you have your Origami Bodhi Fig Bonsai tree.